Hello students, so today we will continue the chapter microorganisms. I already uploaded a video on YouTube about the introduction to microorganisms and the categories in which the microorganisms are described. So today we will discuss about the useful microorganisms, or you can say we will discuss how the microorganisms are friendly to us. So what category of microorganisms are useful to us and how they are useful to us, we will discuss all these topics in today's video. So let's start. So useful microorganisms. So in this we will discuss the topics that how microorganisms are used so that they are friendly to us, they are helpful to us. So the first topic in this is the making of curd. So first of all, I would like to tell you that curd is containing a microorganism. The name of that microorganism is lactobacillus. So this lactobacillus microorganism present in the curd helps in the conversion of milk to the curd. So what I basically means is, making of curd means what we do while making a curd. We take lukewarm milk. So let's suppose this is a container in which I have lukewarm milk. And in this lukewarm milk, you add a little bit of curd and leave it overnight. And in morning you will find that the whole of the milk is converted into the curd. So what happens overnight that whole of the milk is converted into the curd? What we did? We only did that we added a little amount of curd in a lukewarm milk. So what happens is this: the milk contains lactose in this. What milk has? Milk has lactose in it, and the curd which we added in the milk has lactobacillus. Lactobacillus is a bacteria. This is a microorganism. This microorganism is already present in curd, and the name of the microorganism is lactobacillus. And what this lactobacillus do? Lactobacillus converts this lactose which is present in the milk to the lactic acid. And this lactic acid converts the milk into the curd. So now you understand that how microorganism, which is a lactobacillus and it is a category of bacteria, is helpful in making curd from milk. So what we did, we take a lukewarm milk, we add a little of curd in this. This lukewarm milk already has lactose in this, and this curd already has a bacteria which is the lactobacillus bacteria, and it is a microorganism. This lactobacillus bacteria converts the lactose which is present in the milk in the lactic acid, and this lactic acid converts the milk into the curd. So this is how the microorganism is helpful in making curd from milk. So second use of microorganisms is, so this is the first use of a microorganism, which is making of curd. Now let's go to the second use. Is number 2 is the making of bread. Making of bread. Okay, so for making the bread, a microorganism is used, and the name of that microorganism is yeast. Mark it important, because this question asked in exams, like which microorganism is used in making of bread, then your answer should be yeast. Yeast is a microorganism. So how yeast is helpful in making of bread, I will tell you the whole procedure in this video now. So what we do, we first knead a dough. Let's suppose this is a dough, kneaded dough. Okay, wheat, let's suppose it is a wheat dough. So while kneading the dough, what we do, we add a little bit of yeast into this dough. Okay, so what we did while kneading the dough for making bread, we added little bit of yeast into this dough and then we knead it. And then we leave it for around 2 to 3 hours. What you will observe that this dough has become little fluffy and has rises up. This dough has risen up. Okay. And it becomes little spongy also, fluffy also. So what happens in this 2 to 3 hours, that the dough we kneaded with yeast has rises up and becomes little spongy and fluffy. What happens in this 2 to 3 hours is this, that the yeast that we added while kneading the dough, so during the respiration process of yeast, this yeast will release the gas carbon dioxide, and when this gas leaves the dough, it forms the air spaces within the dough, and these air spaces and makes the dough spongy and fluffy. And when it is why it is rises up, because the carbon dioxide gas, because of the respiration process of the yeast, is leaving the dough. So that's why the dough will rise up and it becomes spongy and fluffy. Because why it becomes spongy and fluffy? Because by leaving the carbon dioxide gas from the dough, it will leave the air spaces within the dough, and this spongy and fluffy dough will helpful in making very soft breads. Also it is used in making cakes. Also it is used in bakeries. So this is how the yeast microorganism is helpful in making bread or in the bakery industries. जितनी भी all of the bakery industries, they use this yeast for making bread. And this is the process. Now the important question on this topic is this: which gas makes the dough fluffy and spongy or makes the dough to rise up? Your answer should be carbon dioxide. Mark my words. This question is very important from the examination point of view, that which gas is released that makes the dough fluffy and rising up. So your answer should be carbon dioxide gas. And this carbon dioxide gas is released during the respiration process of the yeast. And this yeast we added in the dough while kneading it. So this is the second use of microorganism, that is in making of bread. Let's come to the third use. Third use is a commercial use. What is meant by the commercial use? Commercial use means that the large scale production. Large scale production. So when we do the production onto the large scale, it means the production is for the commercial use. In this, we will discuss about the production of two things. One is alcohol and the other is vinegar. Okay, or acetic acid. Okay. So first we will take alcohol, and for making alcohol we will be using a microorganism, because the topic is the useful microorganism or the uses of microorganism. So in this also we will discuss that how the microorganism is helpful in making alcohol. So before taking this topic in detail, I would like to introduce a new term to you, which is fermentation. So what is fermentation? Fermentation is conversion of sugar to alcohol by the action of yeast. Okay, so this is known as fermentation. Conversion of sugar to alcohol by the action of yeast is known as fermentation, and this fermentation process was given by Louis Pasteur. Okay, fine. So this is the process which converts the sugar to alcohol by the action of yeast was given by Louis Pasteur, and this is fermentation process. So this is how the alcohol is produced from sugar. The source of sugar can be anything. It can be sugar cane, it can be grapes, it can be barley, it can be maize. So the source of sugar can be anything. What we do, we extract the sugar from these sources and then we add yeast to this sugar and leave it for years and let it go under the process of fermentation, and what we get is alcohol. Okay, so the microorganism which is helpful in making of alcohol from sugar is yeast. Get that? Now the next thing is how the vinegar is produced for the commercial use. So for the production of vinegar, initially what was made is alcohol. Vinegar is made from alcohol. Okay, and how the alcohol is produced, I already told you that for making alcohol we take sugar, and source of sugar can be anything. It can be sugar cane, it can be grapes, it can be even like suppose wheat, it can be barley. Fine. And what we add to this sugar, we add yeast and let it go under the process of what? Fermentation. And then we get alcohol. Now from this alcohol we will make vinegar. How? We add a bacteria to this alcohol, and the name of that bacteria is Acetobacter. Okay, this Acetobacter bacteria when added to alcohol converts the alcohol into the acetic acid, and when this acetic acid is diluted means we add water to this. Just add water and make it dilute. Then we get vinegar. So vinegar is nothing but the diluted acetic acid. So this is the whole process. So for making for making vinegar, we first have to make alcohol. And for making alcohol, what we use? We use yeast. And this yeast acts on sugar, and the source of sugar can be anything. So for making vinegar, we use a bacteria and it acts on alcohol, and the name of the bacteria is Acetobacter. And for making alcohol, we use yeast which acts on sugar, and the process is fermentation, coined by the scientist Louis Pasteur. Fine. So here are the two microorganisms which are used. Basically one is the yeast and the other is a bacteria. The name of the bacteria is Acetobacter. Now the important question from this topic which came in exams from the CBSE point of view is this, that what is fermentation? They simply ask you what is fermentation. So what is fermentation? Fermentation is conversion of sugar to alcohol by the action of yeast. Fine. So let's go to the fourth point. Making of antibiotics. Antibiotics are what? Antibiotics are the medicines that doctor prescribed us during any fever or any flu or any bacterial infection. So these antibiotics are made from the microorganism. The name of the microorganism is penicillium. So this is the name of the microorganism that is used for making the antibiotics. So who discovered that how the penicillium helps in making antibiotics? The name of the scientist is Alexander Fleming. So this is the name of the scientist who discovered that how the penicillium is used in making antibiotics. So this experiment is not a framed type experiment. It happens accidentally. What Alexander Fleming was doing, he was growing a culture of some disease causing bacteria in his lab. Suppose these are the slides on which Alexander Fleming, the scientist, he was growing a culture of disease causing bacteria. Let's suppose this is a culture of some disease causing bacteria. So after a few days of his experiments, he observed that in one of his slides, some of the disease causing bacteria are getting killed or their growth is stopped. And then he observed this slide. He found that there is something like this, something like fungus is grown on this slide. And he is very much surprised. He was very much surprised that how this fungus on one of the slide can kill the disease causing bacteria, can stop the growth of disease causing bacteria. Then he see under microscope and found that this fungus is penicillium. And he was amazed that penicillium can kill the disease causing bacteria. Penicillium can stop the growth of disease causing bacteria. From here, the concept of antibiotics came into the light. And this is how accidentally, not framed, Alexander Fleming gets the credit of developing antibiotics. Okay? But nowadays there are many antibiotics which are made not from natural sources like this, but they are made chemically also. So you should know the name of some antibiotics also. They can be asked in exams. So I tell you one or two names. Remember them. So this is one name which is penicillium. Other name is streptomycin. Streptomycin. Okay. One is tetracycline. So these are also the examples of what? Examples of antibiotics. Remember these names? They can be asked in exams but not much important. The important term of this topic is this name penicillium. Okay. So remember this term penicillium for the examination point of view. Question can be asked in your exams in words like which microorganism is helpful in making antibiotics? Then answer to this question is penicillium. And if the question, rarely this question been asked in exams that give an example, give 2 or 3 examples of the antibiotics, then you can name streptomycin, tetracycline also. These are also types of antibiotics. Let's come to the point number 5. Microorganisms are helpful in making vaccines. So what are vaccines? Basically, what are vaccines? So vaccines are those which helps in boosting the immune system, of body to fight against diseases. Fine. So vaccines are those which helps in boosting the immune system of the body to fight against diseases. So how these vaccines are made? What is the content of these vaccines? So these vaccines consist of what? These vaccines consist of weak version or dead version of the disease causing microorganism. Immune system of the body is that organisms. The scientist who discovers the vaccine against the disease known as smallpox, the name of the scientist is Edward Jenner. So he is the scientist who developed the vaccine against smallpox. There are many more diseases against which we have the vaccines in market, like we have vaccine for polio, we have vaccines for measles, we have vaccines for hepatitis. Okay, and the vaccines can be given orally or they can be injected directly into the bloodstream. This is all about the vaccines. The important point in the vaccines is this, the question that came in exam, how the vaccines work. And answer is, vaccines works by boosting the immune system of the body and to fight against the diseases. And the second important question is, name the scientist who developed the vaccines for the disease smallpox. Then your answer is Edward Jenner. Fine. Now the sixth use of microorganism is improving soil fertility. Improving soil fertility. So which microorganisms helps in improving soil fertility is, one is blue-green algae and the second is rhizobium. Okay, so how blue-green algae and rhizobium helps in improving the soil fertility? What they do, they both are helping in nitrogen fixation. They both are helpful for nitrogen fixation. And what is nitrogen fixation? It is conversion of atmospheric nitrogen to the nitrogen compounds and these nitrogen compounds are used by plants for their growth. Fine. So blue-green algae is helpful in nitrogen fixation. What is nitrogen fixation? What blue-green algae do? Blue-green algae helps in converting the atmospheric nitrogen into the nitrogen compounds, and these nitrogen compounds are used by the plants for their growth. And this rhizobium, this is very important. This rhizobium, where it lives? It lives in the roots of the leguminous plants. Let's suppose this is a leguminous plant and this rhizobium lives in the roots of this leguminous plant. And what are leguminous plants? What are leguminous plants? Leguminous plants like herbs, like peas and like beans. So such plants are known as the leguminous plants. And in the roots of leguminous plants, who lives? It lives the rhizobium, which is a bacteria. And this bacteria helps in the nitrogen fixation. And I already told you what is nitrogen fixation and how it is helpful in the growth of the plants. Now the important question from this topic is, question came like, name two biological nitrogen fixers. Then your answer is, one is blue-green algae and the second is rhizobium. And the second important question is, where rhizobium lives? And answer to the question is, in the roots of leguminous plants. And the third important question is, give two examples of the leguminous plants. Then the pea plant and the beans plant. So this is the topic number 6 of useful microorganisms. Now the last point is topic number 7, which is helpful in cleaning the environment. Cleaning the environment. So the microorganisms are also helpful in cleaning the environment. How they are helpful is this: they feed on the dead part or the decay part of the plants and the animals, and they just decompose them and helps in the decomposition, and also helps in making the organic compost, which can be used as a fertilizer or manure in fields or in houses. So this organic compost is made from the waste or the vegetable waste or the plant waste, and this microorganism feed on this vegetable or the plant waste, and they convert this waste into the organic compost, and this organic compost is very much helpful for the growth of plants. Also they feed onto the dead animals also and decompose them They also feed onto the decayed plants and cleans the environment in such way. So this is the topic, useful microorganisms, how the microorganisms are friendly to us, how they are useful, and this is the 7th topic. These are the 7 topics which we discuss under this. So this is all about the useful microorganisms. Hope you all understand the topic very well, and let me know in the comment section. And also stay tuned with the videos. Tomorrow I will upload a new video and will continue with the chapter microorganism class 8. Okay, bye.